Hey guys, it's me again. So when I was doing the Andrew Wilson TPUSA video, I just did a search of that very thing. I said TPUSA Andrew Wilson, and a bunch of these videos came up. Obviously, he's a hot topic right now. He and TPUSA hiring him contractually. Some people say he's on the payroll. He's not on the payroll. He's not an employee of TPUSA. And if he was, who cares, man? Why are people so upset about how people earn their money? Well, that's kind of the point of this video. What are we doing? Let's take a look at some of these and see what you guys think.
Now, this is where Andrew starts getting to the meat. He says TPU does good work, but one of the major problems is feminism. And I'm going to tell you straight, this is where Andrew says out loud what a lot of conservative men have been thinking for years. Okay? Not just the left, the right. The conservative movement has spent years telling men to be strong, putting women on a stage who talk like soft liberals with Bible verses and caption. All right. That is not the same thing as traditionalism. And Andrews has no problem, him and Rachel have no problem calling that out. All right. That is not the same thing as patriarchy, because it's not patriarchy.
Agreed. Patriarchy is what has given us everything that we have in this country. Like it or not. It laid the roads that you drive on. It's built the building that you're sitting in right now. It probably built all the stuff that you're using to watch this or do your own videos. The patriarchy is, you know what the patriarchy is? You know what a patriarch is? It's just a father. It's just the leader of the home. And I mean leader in responsibility, not in dictatorship. God saw that we are the responsible ones, meaning that everything that goes on in the house is our responsibility. Anyway, I get tired of that patriarchy stuff. And the matriarch. What about the matriarch? That's probably the most important part of the equation, because without the matriarch of the family, there is no family. Well, without both the patriarch and the matriarch. That's the point. They're both vitally important.
I think Andrew Wilson is actually a really gifted debater. But I also find it fascinating that his track record and his history of his opinion about TPUSA is not exactly a rosy picture. In other words, he said some really atrocious things about both TPUSA, Charlie Kirk, and Erica Kirk, who he is now apparently hired to defend in a mercenary-like fashion.
Hey, where'd you go?
Hired in a mercenary type fashion. It's funny how people have to frame things in such a disparaging way. Like, he's just a Christian dude whose occupation is YouTube debate. He's great at debate, probably not great at traditional debate. Like I follow Nate Sala, and he would not say, I would be interested to hear a full critique of Nate Sala on Andrew Wilson and how he debates. I would say Nate would probably say he's a great debater in some aspects and he's horribly disrespectful in others. And yeah, I would probably agree with that. But for YouTube debate, he's probably getting all the clicks he wants. This is what his job is. I don't know how many official debates he's done. I've seen he did a few or several, actually, a ton of them. I don't know how they measure up to real debates. Anyway, so I don't know why this guy's painted like he's some kind of mercenary. Oh, they're hiring him to murk everyone. Yeah, maybe there's some truth to that, but I think they just like the style at TPUSA of his ability to stay on point. Charlie Kirk was good at staying on point. Charlie Kirk was well read. Charlie Kirk was very well spoken, knew a lot of topics, knew them fairly deep, or at least deep enough for public debate on a wide range of topics. And he got better and better as time went on. And I didn't know a whole lot about Charlie Kirk until probably 6 months before his passing. He was building his ability. He was reinforcing his strengths by going to each one of these things. And then he would go to, I don't know if he went to Harvard or went to somewhere in England. I can't even remember. Guy was pretty phenomenal and knew a lot of things. He knew a few things about a few things, you know? And I just don't see the critique. Like, this guy's just trying to earn a living. Why is that such a big deal?
To go for a week. Well, TPUSA hired me to go down and train it.
And he was hired by TPUSA to go and train, I assume, coach up their new pick up the mic debate professionals. They're going to go across college campuses and do what Charlie Kirk used to do. But this is what Mr. Wilson had to say just 3 months ago. Starting with a tweet from March 20th of 26, he says, feminists always claim misogyny doesn't protect women, but here I am claiming Erica Kirk is too retarded to have participated in Charlie's assassination, proving the claim wrong entirely.
Well,
yes, this is my real position backed with facts, and I will devastate Candace with them. Now a tweet from him on April 5th of 26, he says,
okay, so that is part of the what, as they say, it's baked into the cake with Andrew Wilson. He's gonna say stuff like that, and that's just who he is. It's so funny because this is kind of like a cancel culture mentality that this guy's got. I don't even know this guy's name, but so what? So what? He called somebody retarded. I call half my family retarded sometimes but really, in all honesty, only when they're acting retarded.
Has nothing to do with Erica Kirk. She's a terrible leader and a femcon like the rest of TPUSA and a moron. The principle here is what I'm speaking to. And we also have a post from him back on October 13th of 2021 where he says, lighten up, Doc. Nobody likes Charlie Kirk, not even Charlie Kirk.
It's kind of a pointless statement. Obviously, Charlie Kirk was probably pretty delighted with how things were going in his life, and that's just a troll being a troll. Have you never heard of anybody on the internet being a troll? Have you ever viewed anything on Facebook? Like, I'm not one to bring up what other people have said in the past, whatever they did, the things they've even done in the past, and that's more of a Christian thing, because I don't. When people are doing something wrong, I don't have a problem at pointing out, like, hey, that's not right. That's not what you should be doing. If they're asking my opinion, if they're not asking my opinion, then I just kind of keep my mouth shut. I think part of this is because this is what the algorithm wants, right? And so all these people are pining for attention, right? They're groveling for clicks. They're riding the coattails of Andrew Wilson, which I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm talking about Andrew Wilson because he's a hot topic right now, right? And I think he's a force to have to be dealt with, whether you're TPUSA or whether you're somebody like Brian Shapiro, which there's no competition there. If you follow that at all, it's just so it's a fun watch, but it's embarrassing because Brian Shapiro, if you know who he is just a complete rage monger, and that's all he does. Anyway, so that's a whole YouTube thing, and I think that's kind of what this critiquing is like. Oh, he called her a moron. He called Erica not smart enough to figure out how to do this and that. Yeah, I'm probably not smart enough to figure out how to do a conspiracy to eliminate somebody either. But so what? You know, and Andrew might be smarter than everybody, and he might not be. He might just be disciplined enough to read things and know more than you do about a topic, or I, for that matter. Let's see what this guy has to say.
I'm sure most of you are aware by now that Andrew Wilson announced that him and TPUSA have decided to work together in some form or another. I'm going to watch his clip discussing that and giving my reaction to it. But before I do, I know that there are some of you that watch me that aren't exactly the biggest Andrew Wilson fans. You'll get there. Now, I think that TPUSA should have done this months ago, but I am glad that they finally did it. It was getting to a point where a lot of people were questioning what the direction of TPUSA was even going to be now. Is this just going to be like sort of a all-women's conservative type organization now? Because the fact of the matter is, whether you want to believe it or not, young men don't want to be led by women, especially
True.
young conservative men. So in my opinion, bringing somebody like an Andrew Wilson in, even if it's only to help with debate prep, is a good thing. And it only helps push the organization back into a better direction. I have no idea how long this, whatever this is going to last. I don't know. I don't know if they plan on having him out multiple times to work with debate prep and help these guys, but I think they should have him as often as they possibly can. And I hope that they continue to work with Andrew in the future.
Got a lot of
Yeah, that's sounds like a somewhat of a reigning endorsement, actually. And for the purposes of the political atmosphere, I would agree with that. Without Charlie at the helm, TPUSA is in flux, right? You don't have that dynamic character to be the face of the organization. I don't think that's what Andrew's going to do. He's got his own thing going on. I don't think he has any interest in signing with them long term. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will. If they threw enough money at him, maybe he would do it. Because, look, we all go to work. We don't do it for free. We go on a contractual basis that you pay me this money and I will do this certain function for you. And that's what Andrew's doing. He's just earning a living, doing what it is he wants to do. He was some kind of machinist, I believe, during the COVID thing, and just started to do YouTube because he didn't have work or had limited work, and so he's just like, yeah, let's just do this. And he's argumentative. He states his position well, and he used it to his advantage. Shame on him. But if TPUSA does want him to be the face of the, that would probably be one of the better things for the movement, politically speaking. Now, I think at some point TPUSA is going to need a male leader, or at least a face, that has the same kind of charisma that this guy's got. And I don't know that they're going to find it, and they may not find it, and it may just become a woman's movement for conservative women, and that's fine too. It's just not going to be what it used to be without a male presence up in front. And I don't necessarily mean up in front of Erica, but like a side by side. You can have TPUSA be, here's the male division and here's the female division, but what this guy Bronson was talking about is young conservative men do not want to be led by women. And that's the truth. And that's something TPUSA is going to have to realize, if they, and it seems like they have, and they're going to have to deal with it. And if they don't, if they just end up being a conservative women's movement, they need to get away from the feminist thing. They need to promote women staying in the household, if at all possible. It's not always possible. But when you're young, when you're a young couple, you need to, if you choose to have kids, I'm not saying everybody needs to have kids, but if you're going to have kids, do it early in life. Do it when you're healthy, in a good way to do it, when you are at less risk as a woman. I mean, guys have it unequally easy because they don't have to worry about bearing a child for 9 months. They don't have to worry about all those things when they get into their 40s, early 40s. It becomes dangerous. So you should be focusing on your family first. And ideally, most women that want to be mothers want to be home with their kids as much as they can, at least until they get into school, right? I'm not saying that women don't belong in the workplace and they don't deserve fair treatment and all that stuff. Of course I do. But I think the value of a mom being at home with her children should be at the top of the list for mom of her responsibilities, and it should be valued greatly to take care of a child. And most well-centered mothers want to be. They want to be home with their kids and would rather be home with their kids. Get on a soapbox, man. So, what do you guys think? Is Andrew Wilson the big deal that I think he is? I think he's the big deal. I think he's the man of the hour when it comes to making it. He's been on the Joe Rogan show. That right there says you already made it, right? You're rubbing elbows with the Joe. I don't know, dude. Let me know what you guys think. Who is this guy, right? Well, let's stay tuned and find out. All right. As always, the Lord that I serve sees you and loves you. Bye, guys.